All right, welcome. The day has finally come. A day I never thought would come, and still kind of trying to process it. But given the news that happened today, and I'm sure everyone knows by now, Tom Brady has officially retired from the NFL. And it seems pretty legit this time. It seems for real. I was going to do this video last year, but then he unretired. So, bringing it to you guys now that it's official. Just wanted to say that I've been watching this man my entire life. So, I don't know the NFL without Tom Brady, so it's going to definitely be something I have to adjust to. And he was my favorite player growing up watching, and up until the day he retired, is my favorite player to watch. And he's the GOAT for a reason, and he's had a great career. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. This video is going to be going over my top 5 favorite moments of his career. Just moments that I enjoyed or moments that stick with me for specific reasons that I'll go over. Quick disclaimer, I will say that I am only going to be going over the moments that I was actually watching and that I was a part of. I'm 24 years old, so I was alive when he won his first 3 Super Bowls, but I wasn't watching any football at that age, so I'm not going to include his first 3 Super Bowls. That'll just be an honorable mention. But, I mean, you can't make a video without discussing his first Super Bowl against the Rams, game-winning drive against the greatest show on turf. So it's just a great moment. Young Tom Brady taking the team all the way and putting it on his back. Adam Vinatieri finishing it off, winning the Super Bowl for them, and of course the John Madden quote, telling them to, I think it's a mistake that Tom Brady is trying to get something done here. I think they need to play for overtime. Just, it's iconic, and that's his first Super Bowl. But his first Super Bowl, and number 2 and number 3, I wasn't watching football, but still great moments nonetheless. So without further ado, we're going to get right into it and start ranking my top 5 favorite moments of Tom Brady's career up until when I started watching, of course. So to start this list, I want to go back to January 10th, 2015. This is the Ravens at Patriots divisional round in Foxborough, Massachusetts at Gillette Stadium. What a great game this was. This was one of the best games that just stick with me for some reason. I mean, I'll give you the reasons. I mean, the Patriots were down by 14 points, not once, but twice in this game. So, game starts, and the Ravens just are coming right out the gate hot. They score 2 times, and they're up 14-0 over New England. And this was New England's, they were having a great season. And this is in New England, as I'd mentioned. So, right out the gate, that's tough being down 14-0, especially to that Ravens defense. So Tom Brady brings it back. He actually has a rush touchdown to bring him back into the game. And then he has a 15-yard pass to Danny Amendola to tie the game. So then 2 more touchdowns from the Ravens, and 28-14, they're down 14 again. So this game just had everything. So then Rob Gronkowski, he gets a 5-yard pass from Tom Brady that gets him a touchdown. And then my favorite play of the game, and I'm sure a lot of you will remember this, Tom Brady to Julian Edelman, a backward pass that was then passed to Danny Amendola for a 51-yard touchdown to tie the game. And what a great trick play that was. It was definitely something that you could tell they were waiting to use for a moment like this, and it tied the game at that point. This game was just incredible. For them to come back, like I said, not once but twice against this Ravens defense, down 14. It just shows what kind of team they were, and eventually that would, they went on to win the Super Bowl that year. Spoiler alert, but more on that later. But this was also the game where the eligible receiver stuff started happening, and whether you want to call it mind games, deception, whatever, Bill Belichick knows the rule book better than anyone. And this is where they started having linemen saying themselves they were eligible and stuff like that. And the wideouts telling themselves they weren't ineligible. Just tricking and playing mind games with the Baltimore defense. It's just a great game that sticks with me, that it really literally saved their season when it was looking as grim as it ever has been. Down 14 twice. That's number 5 on my list, and it's just a great moment. Just a great moment that I'm sure Patriots fans remember, and especially me. So number 4, I want to go to his entire first year in Tampa Bay. So this is during the COVID year, his first year in Tampa, and what a run, man. What a run. It was so weird seeing Tom Brady in a Tampa Bay jersey after being in New England for so long. It felt like we were in a dystopian future. But the great thing about it was everything that came out of it. Everything that came out of it. And in particular, what number 4 is on my list is it's his playoff run. It's his playoff run, and Buccaneers playoff run, that really is number 4 on this list. So wild card weekend, they go against the Commanders, or I think at that time it's the Washington football team or the Redskins. I'm not sure. I think it was the football team. But they beat them on the road. But this is where it starts getting good. The next round, they go to New Orleans playing their division rival that had beaten them twice already in the season. The Bucs had not beaten the Saints at all yet. So already everyone was picking the Saints, and nobody gave the Bucs a fair shot in this one. The Bucs beat the Saints on their home field and essentially sent Drew Brees into retirement. That was his last game, and that was the only time we got Brady versus Brees in the playoffs, or just a great game, and really led by the Tampa Bay defense. Following week, they go to Green Bay at Lambeau, and we get a battle of 12s, Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady. What a game that was. And Green Bay made it close towards the end, but that game was never really close. I mean, you could say the game was over at halftime when Tom Brady threw that bomb to Scotty Miller right before halftime. Packers fans, I know you remember that, so I just want that to sit with you guys for a minute. But Brady got the best of Rodgers in the playoffs after we never got them to meet in the Super Bowl. This is the closest thing we got to it. And that got them a spot in Super Bowl 55 going against the defending champion Kansas City Chiefs. Brady versus Mahomes. And I don't think I need to talk about that too much. I mean, they beat the Chiefs' ass. They demolished them. And it was in Tampa Bay, the first time a team has hosted a Super Bowl on their home field. And just what a run that playoffs was for the Bucs and Tom Brady. I mean, it's the first time that a quarterback has beaten 3 Super Bowl MVPs in the same postseason. So he beats, and they were all on the road except the Super Bowl. But he beats Drew Brees, then he beats Aaron Rodgers, and then he beats Patrick Mahomes. I mean, just what a run. What a run. And, he really should have called it a career after that one. But just what a great run his first year in Tampa. And his first year in Tampa Bay. I forgot to mention, that's his first year in Tampa. And it really ended the narrative. There were still a lot of haters out there. At this point, he has 6 Super Bowls. But there were still haters out here saying he's a system quarterback. He can't do anything without Belichick. And he destroyed that narrative right away. First year in Tampa, he wins a Super Bowl to a mediocre franchise and ends the debate right there. If the debate wasn't, for me, it was already over that he was the GOAT. But this one just cemented it and rubbed it in everyone's face. But his entire first year in Tampa Bay, that's number 1 for me. I know it kind of feels like a cop-out that I did a whole playoff run as a, spot. But I'm going to do it like that just because of how special that run was. So that leads us to number 3, the 2018 AFC Championship against the Chiefs. We go back to January 20th, 2019, Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. What a game. I tell you, man, what a game this was. So this is the first year Mahomes took the reins as starter. And this is when the Chiefs put the league on notice that they had arrived. This is Mahomes' MVP year. And this is when everyone was doubting the Patriots. They had just lost the year before in the Super Bowl to the Eagles, and everyone was thinking that the dynasty was over. But this game, I think, is probably the best non-Super Bowl I've ever watched. It's up there with last year's divisional round, of course, with the Bills and the Chiefs, but this one I think is the best non-Super Bowl game I've ever watched. So the stage was set, the future versus the present, and we had Brady Mahomes going at it. Nobody was giving the Patriots a shot. But what really happened where this game got good is the Patriots take an early 7-0 lead, and then they go into halftime up 14-0. And then this is where the tide starts to shift. Kansas City comes back and ends up taking the lead. And that's what leads to the fourth quarter, where both teams together, they combined for 38 points in the fourth quarter. It was a true heavyweight fight for the ages. Neither team could stop. They couldn't stop each other. And it was just blow after blow, punch after punch. Just a great, great game. I mean, the Chiefs finally took the lead. Patriots answered back with a touchdown of their own. Then the Chiefs, just a minute and a half later, they score a touchdown, take the lead. Then the Patriots, they milk it down to 39 seconds. And this is when we first find out that you can't leave Mahomes anytime. They take the lead, go up 3. Chiefs kick a field goal, send it overtime. And of course, overtime is really what seals the deal. A hostile environment. Arrowhead. It's freezing. And then on this drive, do yourself a favor. Go rewatch this, just the overtime. And there was a time, that drive, on that game-winning drive in overtime for the Patriots, they convert 3 straight 3rd and 10s to keep the drive alive. And essentially, they win the Super Bowl. That sends them to the Super Bowl, and they eventually win it. But the overtime drive, like I said, overcoming 3 straight 3rd and 10s, it just shows how good and precise they were. And Brady, although his stats don't really pop out for this game, I mean, he went 348 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, threw the ball 46 times, but it just shows what a fight that game was. And this was the first time where it went into overtime before they made the rule change. So Patriots won the toss, and they didn't let Mahomes touch the ball, ended their season. And I think that was the first strike before the NFL said, all right, we got to change the rule. And, of course, what happened last year with the Bills and the Chiefs. So that's number 3 on my list. Just what a great game. We got Brady Mahomes Part 1, and it was just such a great game, such a great environment. I'll never forget watching that game at home with my dad and my brother. It was just a great experience. So we're getting down to the final 2 spots, and I'm sure you guys are already thinking what number 2 and what number 1 is. And it might be a shocker to you what number 2 is. And it is actually the 28-3 Super Bowl 51 game. I know for everyone that's number 1, but once I get to number 1, I'm sure maybe the case will be made. But you go back to February 5th, 2017, Houston, Texas, Super Bowl 51, Atlanta versus New England. I don't even think I need to go over this one too much. I mean, we all know the story. Down 28-3, they come back. I mean, Tom Brady, just look at his stats for this game. 466 yards passing. He threw the ball 62 times. 62 times in this game. He did end up throwing a pick 6 early that really put him behind, but they came back and won it. And I'll tell you what, man, the emotional roller coaster I was on for this game, I can't talk about it enough. I felt almost every feeling of pain and happiness in this game. And man, what a ride. And this was when Tom Brady, this game got Tom Brady number 5. So more Super Bowl wins than any other quarterback in NFL history at that point. So he broke the record there. And that was the year that he served a suspension. He missed the first 4 games of the season for that Super Bowl run. And when he had to shake Roger Goodell's hand, I know Roger Goodell had to be pissed. Because you suspend the best player in the league 4 games. Wrongfully, I will say that, wrongfully. And it's all good because He's the one who came out with the egg on his face because he's the one who had to hand Tom Brady the trophy. I mean, just coming back. I'm sorry. The main thing, 28-3. I don't think we'll ever see that again. I don't think we'll ever see a comeback like that, especially for the stakes being so high in a Super Bowl. So that's number 2 on my list. I know for everyone that's probably number 1. I mean, it's probably his greatest moment, but number 1, I want to take you back to February 1st, 2015, Glendale, Arizona, Super Bowl 49. So this game, the reason this is number 1 is because of, you got to remember where it's at, right? So at this point, the Patriots haven't won a Super Bowl in 10 years. So at this point, I have not seen the Patriots win a Super Bowl yet. I've seen them lose to the Giants twice, and I really think they got a shot this year. So I'm really looking forward to this game, watching it. And they're playing the Seattle Seahawks, the defending champion Seattle Seahawks, with the Legion of Boom defense, an all-time defense. So this game, man, I tell you, was one of the most competitive fights I've ever seen. And looking at it, this game had me on the edge of my seat. Had everyone on the edge of their seats. I mean, I was just looking back, everything that had happened, especially in that third quarter. Patriots go down by 10, and going into the fourth quarter, they're down by 10, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for them to come back against this defense, right? And the drive. It's about the 2 drives that Tom Brady led to take the lead and eventually win them the Super Bowl. So for him to not only lead them down the field once, but twice against the best defense, or if not one of the best, if not the best defense of this century, that just shows what he could do. And that drive where they took the lead, I remember, I was thinking they left the Seahawks too much time. And it was really starting to look like it. Especially right before the 2-minute warning. Marshawn Lynch has a big play that leads them, I think, to midfield with 2 minutes left. And, of course, the Jermaine Kearse catch where you think it's going to be another one of those plays where, oh, here we go again, the helmet catch, the Mario Manningham catch. It just looks like it's one of those plays that's going to haunt the Patriots again. And, of course, we know the ending to the story, the Malcolm Butler interception. This was my first time seeing Tom Brady and the Patriots win a Super Bowl and actually live it. And I'll never forget the moment when Malcolm Butler intercepted that pass. I know that's not a Tom Brady moment, but the drive that he led to bring them in that position, I mean, it just shows how good he was against like I said, one of the best, if not the best, defense of this century. And it was just so good seeing him win that Super Bowl, seeing Belichick win another one, and Tom Brady getting number 4, tying Terry Bradshaw and Joe Montana, and making the case for himself that at that point you could say he had a case for being the GOAT. I think before the game you could make a case, but he was still one Super Bowl short of Montana and Bradshaw. This one cemented it, got him number 4, where he is at least at that table with Bradshaw and Montana. So those are my rankings. Those are my top 5 favorite moments. Obviously, there's a lot more I could go on, but that video would take all day. So just wanted to limit it to 5. So again, number 5, Ravens-Patriots divisional round from 2015. Number 4 is entire first year in Tampa. 3, the AFC Championship against the Chiefs in 2019. 2, Super Bowl 51 against the Atlanta Falcons, 28-3 game. And number 1, Super Bowl 49 against the Seattle Seahawks. Just great moments. And I just want to thank you guys for tuning in, listening to my rankings on Tom Brady's top 5 favorite moments, at least from my perspective. And I want to thank you guys again for liking, subscribing, supporting all year round. And stay tuned next week as I make my predictions for the Super Bowl. And as always, we will see you later.